All right, howdy doodly, everybody. How is everyone doing tonight? We are back with the Zygarde League, and we are ready to rumble. We have Tempo and Mew World Order coming at you tonight, and we have a clash for you tonight because this is how we decide who is going to advance in the standings, because both Mew World Order and Tempo are tied in 6th place. So whoever wins this set will claim this top spot and knock the other one down in the standings. We do have a wonderful match coming in tonight. We are getting our teams in, and they are going in for the ready checks. We also have a bit of a curveball being thrown towards our teams tonight too, as we did have a recent patch note drop earlier today. So not only is this a high-stakes match to see where they are in the standings, this is going to be their first set for the Zygarde League tonight, going into this new patch. Additionally, we do have another team tonight that is also experiencing a new patch for the first sets within the Zygarde League. We have Secret Tech versus Shiggy Wiggy. So those games are going on tonight. You can catch it over on IMAX's channel tonight, because we are not able to cover all the games at all times, because the way this league works is we go based off what the players are able to schedule with one another. But now is not the time for talking, though. We are going to be coming into this first game one as we enter the draft. Tempo will be on your purple team. Mew World Order will be on your orange team. I do see a little hiccup there, but we will adjust that at the break there. But we do see a Galarian Rapidash as the first ban. These teams have been able to do a little bit of research now. With 2 weeks worth of VODs coming at you, being able to decide and determine what the kind of playstyles you can expect. You know this Rapidash is probably a target ban on somebody from Tempo. We do have Charizard, Ho-Oh. These have been consistent staple bans going across the league so far. Suicune coming out, which is a nice ban for the side of Mew World Order, who is getting rid of it. They're like, the CC we are not dealing with tonight. They're going to lock in a nice first pick on the Hoopa. And am I getting baited? I am. Lion, you dirty. But you know what? That's okay. Blissy's a great pick, but I do want that Sableye in. We will see a Sableye game eventually. It's on my wish list, and I hope we get to see one eventually. But here we have that Snorlax locked in. What an absolute beast of a pick. Buzzwole being locked in for the side of Mew Order, and the Goodra recently buffed coming in now. What got buffed on Goodra, you say? Well, defense and special defense got whipped up, and a nice 20% increase to special defense for Muddy Water. Power Whip also got a damage increase of 12% and a cooldown reduction from 7.5 seconds to 7 seconds. So Goodra got tankier, he got beefier, and we're going to see it for the first time in the Zygarde League right here in this game. We do have the Aegislash locked in for Tempo, and we do have a Alolan Ninetales coming in as well. Being able to lock in, that is a nice CC core going in there. We do have the Talonflame and the Miraidon being locked in, so that is interesting. So the Talonflame's going to come in, is going to be looking for some sort of pick, probably on the Ninetales most importantly, but being able to harass, maybe even dodge and go and score some goals if that is the pivot point. It is able to do that very effectively. Miraidon's able to throw down a nice shredding of Charge Beam going into the enemy lines, being able to shred them, and it's able to outrange that Ninetales, which is very important to consider when you're going into an attacker-attacker setup. We do have the Ceruledge locked in for the side of Tempo for that final pick. So that is going to be a strong backline engager. Miraidon is not safe. Between the Aegislash and the Ceruledge, it is on thin ice for sure. I don't know. Indeed. So, as we come into, we are in final preparations for 5 seconds left as our teams are now finalizing their items. we are going to see an XP share on that Goodra. So we're not going to see carry Goodra yet, but because he's got that XP share on, that doesn't mean he can't carry a little bit of games. He still might come through. He might still rack it up and get that damage in and be able to get that going. Well, let me tell you, this game is going to be fire. We do have a little bit of trolls on the other team. That Buzzwole clocking in Trainer 4 as its name. So let me tell you, that is not a bot, but that is indeed a player. That like what they have us believe. So as they're coming in now, we do have the game loaded up. But I am excited to see how this Goodra is going to perform. It's not something we have seen on our broadcast before, and I'm not sure if it was picked up on the other ones yet. So Goodra is a first-time pick for our broadcast. But it's not going to disappoint, I hope, because again, those buffs coming in, that is a tanky beast. It is a surprise pick for sure. Huge secure coming in for the side of the Snorlax here, being able to out-secure on the Miraidon. Buzzwole's going super deep into this top side path as the Hoopa is aiding its Talonflame with a jungle clear. They're trying to get that jungle cleared as fast as possible, and they're able to do this because they have the experience share. So even though they're in that jungle, even though they're in the center path with the Talonflame, Talonflame is still getting all of its experience. It's not losing out on anything. But they wanted this red buff, the Excelgor buff, that's going to lower movement speed on the Hoopa. Hoopa is a basic attacking monster, being able to dish out those basic attacks. But no, we have a huge swing on experience and KOs and top lane pressure being swung back in the favor of tempo. We had the Buzzwole and the Talonflame pressuring hard, but they get caught out with a 4-man gank into the top lane. Buzzwole's down, Talonflame's down, and Hoopa follows with it as we have scores raining in, bringing tempo up to 45 to 23, allowing their stacking mons to get some much-needed stacks. Hoopa and Buzzwole are rotating into the top here, but we do have these mid-birds coming up in 20 seconds. Teams are going to need to want to figure out how they're going to take this engage. Do they want to zone in early? Do they want to come in late? Will they fight for farm or will they fight for KOs? Speaking of KOs, that Blissey goes down, overextended, but getting valuable vision for its team. Ceruledge coming in at nice level 7. It's got both of its moves coming in, but the Hoopa gets taken. No, it's not the Hoopa. That's the Aegislash. That's the Doublade. Not quite evolved, but taken downtown and sent back to the Pokemon Center. All of these mid-birds are going to go to the side of New World Order as they are able to excel and be able to pressure tempo out of these birds. They're grabbing KOs, they're isolating them, they're being able to zone, and they're now moving into this bot lane for pressure to try to get some points to catch up because they are behind. But when fighting on pad, you are typically at a disadvantage, but the Aegislash goes down. Doesn't matter if they're at disadvantage or not, they're taking knockouts, they're pulling out. The Goodra, not quite able to pull out in time. But that's all right because the rest of their team, the Mew World Order, was able to do so. No further knockouts from there as we are now entering our first objective battles. Regieleki into the top lane, Regirock in the bottom lane. Whoever claims this Regirock is going to get a nice defense, special defense buff indeed. We do have the Talonflame going down, taking out the Ninetales exactly as it's supposed to do. Grabs that attacker, right, takes out their range, forcing them in, but the Ceruledge has its Unite move. You have to watch that engage. The Safeguard on the Blissey is going to allow the Ceruledge to at least engage initially, if not escape as well. But both teams are now going to be rotating into the top side. They have to zone out and protect our pads first. Hoopa using the hyperspace highway to pull their team into the top side as Tempo looks to break it down. The Ceruledge Unite coming out, trying to grab KO after KO. Not able to grab the Hoopa. Hoopa gets away, but Buzzwole does become Ceruledge's next victim. With that top pad now gone, that is going to hamper the Hoopa's ability to use its hyperspace holes for travel between the lanes. It's now only going to be able to get to that top side tier 2 pad. However, that is still a decent way to do it, because now you might have a quicker way to get to the bot side tier 1. Teams are now rotating into Regieleki. They're saying, hey, have you heard our Lord and Savior? And they're making their pitch. They're trying to convert it. Here we go. A nice secure by the Goodra. That power whip buff coming in clutch already, as our teams now go in to score with the side of New World Order and push this Regieleki into tier 2. We do have 2 Unite moves. We have the Talonflame and the Goodra coming in. Talonflame with a beautiful push down into the Flux Zone. Fly to get away, and a 40 cap to go in. Dodging Cerulegi's Unite as Aegislash comes out and Unite on its own. They're able to pick up KOs on the Goodra and the Hoopa. Talonflame living on 1 HP in a Dream, but taking out the Ninetales with it. But being level 12 that it is, when it goes down, that is massive experience being swung back to the side of Tempo. Our teams are now sitting at a score of 94 for Tempo and a massive 242 for New World Order. New World Order running away with this game so far, but we still have a whole half a match to go. 4.5 minutes. Hoopa is uniting to try to bring this down. Aegislash going for Cheeky 45, but Talonflame able to stop it with the Blissey. We do have the Regirock secured for the side of New World Order. We do have that hyperspace highway coming through, the hyperspace portal creating that link between the pads. But Tempo is not letting up. They are ramping up the tempo in this game as they're coming in and pushing into their enemy jungle, into their center path, trying to grab whatever farm they can. They do have a victim in that Ceruledge, but they grab the Buzzwole Unite out as a result. So we do have a resource out for a knockout, and that farm is secured and safe for the side of New World Order. Regieleki is now spawning in here in 5 seconds. It will be the last one for this game. Our teams are now looking to zone out. We do have a Muddy Water on that Goodra, looking to mitigate any sort of damage that Ninetales is supposed to do, because that is a special defense increase. Ceruledge collapsing on the Buzzwole, being able to take it out. That's what you get. Trainer number 4. How dare you try to sneak a bot into this game? Oh, that was a mean block indeed. And for those of you who might have missed it, Snorlax pushed that Goodra into that top lane, kidnapped him, trapping him, putting him in jail. Officer Snorlax is on duty while his team is able to collapse and secure the arrest. Regieleki is now going to saw that play, got scared, and is now going to play on the side of the law, walking alone and solo towards Team New World Order. They're going to make quick work of this Regieleki, and they're going to quickly rotate into this bot side path. This is because common practice, what we often see is when a Regieleki is walking towards a tier 2, a common practice is to push the other lane to try to get some sort of score advantage. But when we are only about 20 seconds out from Rayquaza, or at the time about 35 seconds out, that is going to be a difficult opportunity to take advantage of, because you're getting closer to the right fight. And you don't want to get KO'd, because the closer we get to 2 minutes and beyond, the higher those KO timers are going to be. Teams are now taking their position. Everybody has Unite moves. Nobody quite sure where everybody is. Everyone is scattered, but we are looking for vision. Huge charge beam collapse on the Snorlax, and it's the first Unite move out, as New World Order tries to collapse on the Snorlax to grab a quick pick, but it's not going to work. Ceruledge Unite grabbing only the Goodra, but that buff, those defensive buffs are coming in handy. And Snorlax is going to be the first victim of this Rayquaza fight, followed by the Ninetales. New World Order is doing an excellent job of being able to zone out and find their picks and communicate. They're trying to zone at the Ceruledge while they grab this Aegislash, and it does it successfully. Talonflame putting Ceruledge on the back foot, being able to grab the KO, putting it on a 22-second cooldown. Respawn timer. They're like, man, you've been in here, you're on fire. You're literally a fire-bladed guy. Go on cooldown, chill out. But New World Order, that Talonflame has the tools and the abilities to come in and out very quickly. You gotta watch it. If you don't see it in the fight, it could be going for the back cap. which it did for 100 points. A Hundroburger without the Ray Shield is a brave thing to do indeed, and that Talonflame got away with it, further extending New World Order's lead to 342 to 108. Tempo has to come into this game. We have 32 seconds left. The Great Green Dragon staying up. They're collapsing. They're getting everyone on it. We have the Secure with the Talonflame. We have the Sayuhupa Unite being able to stun. Chaos is ensuing. The final hit goes to the Blissey of all Pokemon. The Blissey secures the Great Green Dragon outside of Aegislash, outside of Ceruledge, outside the Talonflame. But is it going to be enough? They can't. They just got the Dragon, but they have to score as well. 1, 2, 3, and 4 scores going in for the side of Tempo. What a swing! At the last second. Wow! What a match. What a game. What a Ray fight. Tempo found their tempo, and they were able to utilize that pressure, secure the win, and go for the flip. Woo! What a game indeed. But look at these damage numbers too. This was one of our highest, more consistently damaged games out there. 68k on that Ceruledge, coming in at the top for the side of Tempo, followed with a 61 on the side of Ceruledge. They were definitely in those fights. That is what you expect of your brawlers. Meanwhile, on the side of New World Order, it is the Talonflame with 65 and the Miraidon with 62. So even though we have a melee and a range, they're still putting in their work. The Ceruledge is going to take the MVP status, and Meepmort for the side of New World Order is going to take it for the Talonflame. Cyflex and Meepmort, you guys did your teams proud. Congratulations, good job, and we'll see how this is going to look into game number 2 as Tempo takes game number 1. We are going to update the standings now, and they are updated. We are waiting for ready checks from our teams as they come in. So let's go back here and let's take a quick look at the Zygarde League standings. So again, we do have New World Order and Tempo sitting in 6th place, duking it out, ready to go through. We have Thanks Gaming and Secret Tech at the top of the bracket in 1st place. We do have Arson and Kedic around in 3rd and 4th, followed by Shiggy Wiggy. Tonight, we have Secret Tech versus Shiggy. Shiggy Wiggy, which are some of the Zygarde League's favorite picks for tonight. So this is going to be a fire set for sure. So be sure to check it out. If you're not watching live, make sure to check out the VOD over on IMAX's channel. Down in the bottom, we do have 4 teams in the danger zone of being dropped. Zygarde League runs for 11 weeks. We are on week 3 before the playoffs hit. So no sweat. EX Trainers, Team Meow, and Midnight Griefers are in the bottom slot. They're on the chopping block, and they're definitely feeling the pressure. So as we are now waiting for our teams to come in and get that ready check, we are going to go through and see how they're going to adapt as we get into the final draft and ready to go. So let's go see, and let's see what is going to come out here. Again, we do see that bait of a Latios coming in, but Latios is banned in the Zygarde League this week. It will be free the following week once it's available for coins. We do have the Rapidash and the Suicune coming in for the bans on side of New World Order, and we're going to keep the Charizard Ho-Oh. Those bans worked very, very well for both teams, being able to lock it out and lock in the Pokemon that they needed. We are going to see a Hoopa first pick again, followed by a Snorlax. Blissey, so far this draft is going exactly the same as the last game. So I'm wondering, are we going to keep those same picks? It looks like we are. We're going to lock in that Buzzwole. We're hovering it. We're thinking it. Garchomp, though, might follow. Slowbro coming in. That Goodra was a nice brawler, but when you have something like a Goodra, you lack the CC and the stability and the ability to lock out certain Pokemon. because it doesn't have a lot. Sure, you have that power whip, which is able to drag people towards you, but if you don't have anything to follow up and to collapse on, or if you don't have anything that's able to CC chain with it, Goodra is a little bit lackluster as a traditional tank. Most people do use it as more of a brawler instead. So when you lock in this Slowbro pick is absolutely going to be rocking the world, especially with the Slow Beam. Gyarados and Miraidon. We are seeing Tempo pick the Miraidon away from the side of New World Order. They took that first game, but they realized the threat potential of Miraidon and took it. But New World Order is going into a double attacker core. They're going to bring in the Greninja and the Delphox, leaving the Talonflame open for Flex to take. We did see a cheeky Talonflame score at the last second, which did put New World Order in a solid place. But Greninja is just as able to do those cheeky backcaps if required and also carry those matches. Its Unite move can be seen as a secure, which has more than once stolen a Rayquaza out from under myself, as well as many others in the Zygarde League. Delphox is going to be a nice addition, whether it is the Mystical Fire build or more likely the Fire Spin build, the Flame Charge build, or more likely the Fire Spin build. Fire Spin going to be incredibly detrimental to the Slowbro, incredibly detrimental to the Buzzwole and the Hoopa, who are that's its own teammates. Incredibly detrimental to the Snorlax and the Gyarados, who are typically on the front lines. They're brawling it out. The Delphox is going to be able to have that incense as well to mitigate any sort of healing that Snorlax might try to regain with its Unite move, as well as being able to counter it with its own Unite move. With the slowing effect as well, Talonflame is going to be heavily restricted if caught inside, and if Miraidon's caught in it without that eject button, it is a sitting duck. As we get now into our game 2, we have Tempo, your purple team. We have New World Order, your orange team, as we are now dividing the lines, taking our jungle, taking our farm, and entering into our lanes to see who our matchups are going to be. That is going to be a tough secure. That Fell Stinger is going to be a hard move to try to counter as one of the most powerful early game secures coming through. But with a Magikarp and a Blissey lane, this is looking to be a nice chunky lane for Buzzwole to get in on. But the one thing you got to watch out with the Magikarp is every hit it does, every KO it grabs, everything except moving increases its experience bar, its effort bar there. Once that effort bar reaches max, it becomes a Gyarados. It doesn't matter if this effort bar reach is maxed out at level 2 or level 5 or level 6. That will be a Gyarados once it is max, or we force the evolution at level 7. But this is the weak side lane for Tempo, so they want to try to set this behind as quickly as possible. And there we go. We have a dive on the Buzzwole here, grabbing that Magikarp, grabbing the Talonflame. Tempo now on the back foot. New World Order reversing, pulling in the four-man push, reversing Tempo's tactics against them. But Chansey being able to out-secure the Buzzwole, even though they tried to take the farm for their stacks. Buzzwole needs to do it, but Blissey wasn't able to secure. Blissey, although I am saying Blissey, is still a little chancy. And we are 15 seconds out from these mid-birds. Let's take a look into this bottom side path here. We have 9 points for the side of Tempo, which were scored exclusively in the bot side path, which means we have no stacks on this Gyarados. Midbirds are spawning. We do have dominating positions from both teams trying to come in. We have Slowbro and Miraidon going and try to chunk it down, but I believe Miraidon was the one. No, it wasn't the Miraidon. It might have been the Talonflame then grabbing the majority of that farm. Greninja is a victim, falls victim to Talonflame as the Slowbro soon falls to the Miraidon. Nice double pick right there, being able to alleviate any sort of pressure a 4-man could put with a Fire Spin Delphox onto their tier 1 pad. Tempo is trying to retake control of this game, and they are doing a very good job of it, being able to keep any more points and scoring out. Gyarados is alone in the top lane with the Buzzwole, so they're going to go toe-to-toe. We are 15 seconds out from these objectives. And this nice little treat of these birds come in, trying to get a little bit of experience for both of our teams. Most of that in the bot side is going to go towards tempo. Woo! All right. Now we have our Reggie spawned, Regieleki in the top side, Regice in the bot side. So we are going to have 90 seconds of some passive healing every couple of seconds for the team that takes the Regice. This is going to be, this is often seen as one of the lesser objectives, but the EXP for all is still worth the fight. Especially in this early game where it could be the difference of getting your Unite moves, your evolutions, and staying ahead. Huge surf coming up from the Slowbro, but it's not enough, but it's going to take down the Blissey, but the Buzzwole falls. Talonflame drops in, but also now drops out as the Greninja takes out the Snorlax Talonflame with a double knockout, triple knockout with the Miraidon KO. New World Order is going to press their advantage score, break that bottom tier 1 pad, and go for a 170 lead to 63. Tempo needs to find their tempo again. They've lost it. They've fallen out. They need to come online somehow. We do have a level 10, one of the higher level members of the team, but we still have a level 7 Snorlax. Unite moves are online for the entire team of New World Order, with the exception of that Slowbro. Ninja doesn't have it, but we are going down. Huge Miraidon Unite. Will Snorlax with that mean block. 4 down for the side of New World Order as Tempo looks to push advantage. But Delphox throws the fanciful fireworks on top of that pad, but it's not going to be enough. They can't keep it up forever. It does have a time limit. It will eventually go down as Tempo scores for 140 to 170, bringing themselves back into this game. Excellent peel, excellent stalling from the Snorlax with that block, trying to secure, but they're being forced off of it. Too many outs, too many pushes, too many scatterings, as New World Order is taking advantage of this chaos, grabbing not just 1, but 2 knockouts on the Blissey Gyarados. Buzzwole will fall, Regieleki will walk, and points will go in, putting New World Order up to 190. This does put them in a 50-point lead. So this is going to give them a little breathing room, but it's not much. 1 full cap of points will tie the game up. So they can't rest on their laurels yet. We do have a bottom side Reggie coming in. This is going to be another Regice. The Regice is again one of the more commonly less sought after Reggie, but it does give nice EXP for all with a nice secure with the Blissey. Somebody take this guy off Blissey with a 2 objective secure with so many stronger secures around. Lion, you demon! We do have portals coming in. Slowbro is going to take it. Will they come back? They are coming back to support their team. Snorlax diving in, trying to peel for their team for Tempo to allow them to escape. This is going to allow Tempo to pull back, regroup, and reassess where it is they need to do. What it is they need to do, where it is they need to be on this map. We're 25 seconds out from the final objective of this game. Before the Rayquaza. This Regieleki is going to be a hotly contested one. It's going into the tier 2. Teams might not take it right away, though. One of the beautiful things about Regieleki is when it walks towards a pad, it's going to apply pressure to that team's pad. But it can also be a bait and a trap. So if you're going to go for it, you have to make sure you're going to secure it. You have to make sure you zone properly, because if you don't, you could end up on the receiving end of the eventual beatdown. But Tempo is going for it. They are revealing their positions early, going in for this. That's not too close to a Rayquaza fight, which means it's not too bad a play. They're going to rip this Regieleki. They're going in, secure with the Talonflame. Miraidon gets the last hit, though, so just a little early, as this Regieleki is now going to walk towards the tier 2. New World Order does have time to rip this, so they are able to get rid of it. But if they ignored it and they walked, that Talonflame was going to be able to be ready to secure. We do have another objective into this bot side lane, but the teams are not going to go for it because the time between the spawn and the time between the despawn, which it does as soon as Rayquaza spawns in, is just too short. They don't have the rip. They're out of position. There's no point going for it. There's just so many reasons not to do it. Gyarados is holding off the Buzzwole and the Hoopa in this topside path. Massive level 14 on it, along with that Greninja for the side of New World Order. So both teams with a level 14 trying to get in. That Hoopa's dangerously low. Gonna grab the KO. Huge! Tempo is now swapped it back around again. This is where they go. The fanciful fireworks coming out. Two members, the Gyarados blocked into there, but they're able to clutch out the KO. Greninja goes down with the Hoopa coming back with the Unite move. Delphox goes down, but so does the Gyarados. Huge damage coming in on this Buzzwole. It needs to stay alive. It needs to keep going. It needs to try to escape, and it's not going to be able to make it. That Snorlax block just too mean as Blissey wants some blood. And Battle Blissey grabs the secure on that Buzzwole. We do have the Hoopa Unite move coming out, but that is nowhere near the Rayquaza. Tempo was able to swing the point lead into their favor for 240 to 190. Now all they got to do is just keep an eye on their pads, keep control of the Ray Pit. There it is, that mean block, being able to lock in the Hoopa. Once again, Hoopa picked off before it can do much of anything in these fights. Tempo refusing to let the Hoopa do anything after that game one, knowing just how dangerous it can be. But we might have a little overextending coming in. Fanciful Fireworks. Snorlax goes down, but the Greninja KO gets picked up. Huge fight on this bot side pad as the Buzzwole and the Greninja goes down. Followed by the Hoopa. 41 points for 82 is going to come in from the Slowbro, but it won't be enough. With 10 seconds left on the clock, Tempo is going to take game number 2 and leave the Rayquaza alone all by him lonesome. Rayquaza feeling a little rejected, looking to get some revenge in the game number 3, but Tempo has found their tempo, they found their momentum, they're pushing through, and now they're going to take a commanding 2-0 lead into the set, putting them into match point range. This is absolutely a fire match indeed. And look at that Miraidon. You thought 68k was good? Well, it's one up to you now this game with 80k. That Miraidon was putting in the work, shredding down the enemies with those charge beams. Gyarados with the 67k and the Talonflame coming in with a respectable 58. We move over to the side of New World Order. The Delphox was definitely putting in the work with a respectable 62k. Buzzwole with a great 62k. Buzzwole with a respectable 46k. And we do have the Greninja there sitting at 26, but that doesn't mean it wasn't doing anything. 5 KOs, 5 assists, which means it was there to be that finisher move. And you want it farming because Greninja is a very powerful Pokemon. But Slowbro and the Snorlax taking nice amounts of damage here, and the Blissey taking a nice bit, but where's the damage? Where's the heals? That wasn't its moveset. Instead, it gets 2 knockouts and an objective secure once again. Again, guys, someone take Lion off of this. A Rayquaza secure, a Reggie secure. In the face of so many secures, you can't underestimate the Blissey. But now we are going to head back into our lobby and we are going to see just where these teams are ready to go. They are ready, waiting for the Game 3 match. Match point for the side of Tempo. New World Order having to win 3 games in a row against Tempo in order to come back into this. They have shown that they've been able to exert map control. They've done it before. They were able to do it both those games. Unfortunately, they choke on the Ray fight. So they got to find a way to adapt. They got to find what the problems were. Maybe it's a way, maybe it comes down to how they fight. Maybe they got to play into their strengths. As we've seen a lot of those objective fights, both top and bottom, we have seen that New World Order thrives in causing chaos. We've seen them able to isolate and scatter tempo and being able to take those fights with coordinated picks. During that Rayquaza fight, they need to try to come up with something to do that as well. But now we are coming into the next draft for the potential final game of this set. Tempo is your purple team, Mew World Order is your orange team, and then we have match point for Tempo. As we're coming in here, we are seeing the same bands. There is no love for Charizard, no love for Ho-Oh, no love for Suicune, and no love for the Galarian Rapidash. But once again, that Hoopa is picked for Mew World Order. Tempo has let this Pokemon through 3 times now. They can't be all that worried about it. They must not fear it as much. Yes, the Hoopa is able to transport between the lanes. Yes, that Unite move is absolutely devastating when used correctly. And let me tell you, Tempo is not worried at all. So something's fishy. They must have a way to come through this. We do have that Snorlax pick and a Clefable. And for those of you who watched the last streamed on Tuesday, we did see that between EX Trainers and, hang on, who were their opponents 2 days ago? No Sweat. Between EX Trainers and No Sweat, the curse of Clefable was lifted. That's right, Clefable no longer has a 0% win rate. But the Lucario did fall. The legacy of our boy Lucario did fall. He did finally take a loss, and he is going to go to rest. His legacy will forever live on within the first 2 weeks of Zygarde League, but coming into this, it is dethroned. We do see Buzzwole Slowbro being locked in with an Absol and an Aegislash. Those are powerful picks. This is a very bulky team with a strong assassin coming in to try to either deter or KO any sort of attacker that the side of Tempo looks to bring in. But we do have more bulk as well coming in on the side of Tempo. That is Azumarill, that Serena. These are Pokemon that don't go down easy and that have built-in mechanics to increase their sustain through healing, or in the case of Serena, shields. Pikachu's going to round out this core with some nice CC coming in, either through the Volt Tackle or through that Thunderbolt, and being able to secure and execute with that Electro Ball. Although, considering how bulky this other team is, we could see a Thunder Pikachu. Instead of going for a one-hit wonder with the Electro Ball, we could be looking for to apply some nice mage pressure. Because if we look at the side of Mew World Order, they lack that. All of their damage is melee. They're going to be playing into the Clefable, which has the gravity, which counters the Buzzwole, counters the Aegislash, counters the Absol, which is going to make diving in very, very difficult. Collapsing on Tempo is going to be hard. I'm looking for some excellent healing numbers on this Clefable for sure. I'm excited to see what it's going to be at the end, although I could be baited once more. And instead of healing, it could be that Draining Kiss set. We could be seeing a sleeper carry Clefable. But we'll only find out once it hits level 4, so stay tuned for that. We do have early stacks coming in for Blight from the side of both Clefable and the Azumarill. Azumarill with a quick level up to level 4. That is the deadly threat of the Azumarill. Leaving the Buzzwole alone in lane against it is a tough thing to do. But to try to get that red buff on the Hoopa, to get that slow on those basic attacks might be worth the trade. We do have a double jungle clear going in for the Serena, trying to get that level 6 as soon as possible. And for once, we are seeing the Serena just one tick. It's not just level 5, it is almost level 6. This twin bunny here is going to go down. Serena's level 6 for these mid-birds. This is a huge swing in momentum for the side of Tempo as they're coming in. Pikachu still only level 3, doesn't have its move yet, but that's not going to stop it from collapsing with its team to try to push this pad. but Azumarill goes too far. They stray too close to the sun, and Icarus had his wax wings melted as Buzzwole grabs the knockout. We do have clears, and we are getting into this bottom side path. Snorlax putting up an excellent defense going into this Aegislash. Aegislash trying to become, or Doublade trying to become an Aegislash, but isn't having much success in getting any of its attack weight stacks. Snorlax putting the pressure on with the Pikachu zoning out for these mid-birds, which Mew World Order is coming with en masse. We do have a collapse on the Serena, but the drop kick is able to get out. The reverse KO on the Buzzwole, the collapse on the Slowbro. Gonna swing that momentum back to the side of Tempo. Oh my goodness, but it goes down. The Azumarill, the sleeper tech coming in. Absol grabbing a quick 2 KO knockout. Doublade grabbing another 2 KO knockout. But surprisingly, all of that farm, oh, never mind. I'm going a little colorblind. But no, Mew World Order secures all of the farm from those mid-birds, and they rotate into this bottom side path. They're looking to take a power position for whatever Reggie they spawn in. They don't care if it's a Reggie Ice, they don't care if a Reggie Rock or a Reggie Steel. What they do know is they want it. And that is something that Tempo needs to take into account. We see 3 people down here. We know the Absol is probably off farming up. We have no Unite moves ready to go, but as I say that, of course, Aegislash and Azumarill are tick into their Unite moves as we see Mew World Order zone out on the Reg Ice. Snorlax keeping an eye on the defense with the Clefable and the Pikachu, while Tempo secures the Regieleki, converts it to their team, and they walk it into the top tier 1 pad. But we have huge scores coming in for the side of Mew World Order. They are pushing. Tempo is not looking to give up any sort of KOs. That is a Voltaic Pikachu. And is it Electro Ball? Yes, it is indeed. Looking to grab the secured on those Absol when it gets low. So it's not going to try to retreat and leave on 1 HP. But Tempo is fighting too far off pad. This fight's going on too long, and Mew World Order is going to fall and collapse. They picked up a couple of KOs, but they're back and spawning in way too fast. They lose 2 members and are now on the back foot, being forced out of the push. They're trying to defend the pad, but that leaves the farm up. All these wild Pokemon, this juicy experience for Tempo to go around and start collecting. Once they grab all of this farm, they are going to try to even out these levels. We have a level 10 Absol, level 10 Aegislash, followed up by a level 10 Serena, now reaching level 11, being the biggest, baddest girl on the map, with a level 10 Azumarill. We have Unite moves coming out. That Absol getting picked off really quickly. Hoopa Portal's coming in, but Snorlax denying the heals with a fat, heavy slam coming in with a 2 KO knockout for the Azumarill. The Slowbro Unite does come out. You might as well use it now, especially if you're trying to get an advantage for your team. Absol Unite comes out and absolutely decimates and shreds Tempo. That was a hard push, and for what value did they get from it? They got a couple of knockouts, but they swung a lot of experience back towards the side of New World Order. We now have level 11 Absol, level 11 Aegislash. We did have experience go in for that Buzzwole, Hoopa, and Slowbro as well, as give the opportunity for Mew World Order to come in and get a point, get some points on this top pad. They didn't get a lot, and so, but the reverse push is going to put Mew World Order on the back foot as Tempo now goes to rip and convert Regieleki to their side. But we do have some nice counter pressure going on with a nice 40 cap from the bot side with the Absol now going into the center path to contest the jungle. He's saying, hey, if no one's here to take it, I might as well. And it's going to be mine. That is a mean block from that Snorlax. And that is a mean disconnect from my controller saying, hey, I need some battery power. I need to charge. I need some fuel. And we missed it. Oh no, but what an excellent pad push by that Snorlax, putting the block in, Regieleki going in, Tempo scoring points going in for 229 to 182, taking the lead as Serena scores 43, furthering that to 272. with a 90-point lead. 90 seconds away from the Rayquaza. Tempo is looking at a really strong position. Snorlax trying to escape, but the real action is down here in this bottom lane as Tempo is now trying to force more scores in. But they have lingered too long that Clefable is going to get taken out. One rule of thumb is if you're pushing pad, try to count for 3 or 4 seconds, and if you're gaining nothing, pull out. That is going to work in different comps, but that is what has worked before. And when you're not gaining anything and you land and you're fighting too long, you are going to go down. The Regice is going to go to the Absol, though, with a nice, cheeky secure going in, but the Pikachu comes back for the revenge double knockout. And the Clefable will take the secure against this Absol. This Clefable player. Who are they? Oh my goodness. Being able to lock in secures with the Blissey on a Rayquaza, being able to lock in secures with a Blissey on an objective, getting some knockouts, and now Clefable coming in. Tempo, what are you doing to the supporters? I like it. I love it. I'm here for it. Let's bring in some carry supports. Five supports, anybody. Let's do it. Let's run it. Let's send it. As we are now 5 seconds away from Rayquaza, we're sitting at 307 to 236 for the side of Tempo. They're trying to grab an early pick here onto this Rayquaza fight, but no, New World Order is going to be pulling out, resetting on those HP bars and looking to reset this fight entirely. Unite moves are available for everyone. Now it's just going to be what are the win conditions. We have 3 level 13s for the side of New World Order, but we have 2 massive 14s for the side of Tempo as we go. Snorlax engages, collapsing in. Huge Unite moves coming in. This is the burst moment that they were waiting for. Hoopa goes down with Unite. Aegislash goes down. As Tempo now collapses, Buzzwole in danger as the 3rd knockout. Slowbro is the 4th. Absol, 1 HP in a dream, able to escape as Tempo now turns to reverse the rip on the Rayquaza. Absol's coming back as desperate as he can. Rayquaza sitting at 1/3 of the HP. Snorlax doing everything it can. Serena disconnecting from the Ray fight, now going to also help the Snorlax zone. Rayquaza's going to go to the side of Tempo, but now it's time to rip some shields. Absol is down, but this game is still in the side of New World Order, but no. Quickly, as soon as it happened, they fall. Aegislash falls. Hoopa falls. Hundo Burgers reigning in 407 to 236. 40 seconds left in this match. Another Hundo for 507. These the points keep raining in, and as the points come in, the dashes and hopes of New World Order to come back and win this game and this set are dashed. As now Tempo will take game number 3 and game number 3 of this set against New World Order. Well done, both teams. Oh my goodness. What a match, what a set, what a game. All these times, Tempo has decided, you know what, when we're behind, when we're getting fought on, we're just going to take the Ray flip. We're going to take a Ray fight. We look for the great engage, and they followed in with that Snorlax. Snorlax got a huge heavy slam into a few members of New World Order. Not 1, not 2, but I believe it was 3. Being able to lock it in, allowing for the Pikachu, allowing for the Azumarill to just lock in, send it hard, and go and get that burst damage in. Being able to chunk them down and keep them low. The Hoopa was knocked out even before it could unite. So, oh my goodness, they were not having it. Tempo was like, again, guys, we weren't worried about Hoopa. You can take Hoopa for days. We got Blissey, we got Clefable, and we are ready to go. Whopping a 127k damage for that Azumarill, 83k damage for that Serena. Being able to lock it in. We have 71k on Pikachu running that full tackle Electro Ball coming in here. On the side of New World Order, we do have 69k on that Surge Aegislash. Both are swords. Both have swords. Give me a break. But no, Aegislash coming in at 69k, followed by 66 on that Buzzwole. That is going to be amazing damage right there. That is hard to get on an all melee comp. But 57k on that Absol, it was doing the work. 5 KOs, 6 assists, being able to go in and out and get those assassinations as needed, and even a bit of a team wipe help going in the mid game there. But oh my goodness, well done teams. Well done teams. That was a fire set, a fire match, and absolutely what a game to watch. So that is going to wrap up this set for tonight, folks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys again at the next one. Take care.